The world changed overnight. What was once ordinary became extraordinary. People discovered they possessed abilities beyond human comprehension. We call them true potentials. Some were born with their gifts, while others developed them later in life. They are telekinetics, able to move objects with their minds. They are healers, mending wounds with a touch. They are elementalists, commanding the very forces of nature. Their emergence sparked fear and wonder in equal measure. Governments scrambled to understand and control this new reality. The world held its breath, caught between the promise of a brighter future and the threat of unimaginable chaos. These extraordinary individuals, once hidden in the shadows, were now stepping into the light. Their existence challenged everything we thought we knew about human potential. The world watched, captivated and afraid, as these individuals began to understand their powers. Some used their abilities for good, helping those in need and righting wrongs. Others, consumed by their newfound power, chose a darker path. The line between hero and villain blurred. The question wasn't if these powers existed, but how humanity would choose to wield them. The world had awakened to a new era, one where the impossible was now possible. But with this incredible power came a daunting responsibility to shape a future where these abilities would be used for the betterment of humankind, not its destruction. The discovery of Proxima changed everything. This mysterious substance found in meteorites that crashed to Earth held the key to unlocking latent superhuman abilities. Scientists and governments alike were captivated by its potential. Here was a way to level the playing field, to grant anyone the chance to become extraordinary. But Proxima was a double-edged sword. While it could amplify existing powers and even awaken dormant ones, it also carried significant risks. The effects of Proxima were unpredictable. Some experienced a surge in power, while others suffered debilitating side effects. Mutations were common, often grotesque and agonizing. The allure of power proved too strong for some to resist. Black markets thrived, peddling Proxima to desperate individuals seeking power or a way to improve their lives. The consequences were often devastating. Uncontrolled transformations led to chaos and destruction. The promise of Proxima, once a beacon of hope, became a cautionary tale about the dangers of tampering with forces beyond our understanding. The world grappled with the ethical implications of Proxima. Should it be controlled, regulated, or destroyed entirely? The debate raged on, fueled by fear, ambition, and the uncertainty of a world grappling with the implications of accessible superhuman abilities. The very existence of Proxima challenged humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. Were we meant to wield such power, or was it a force better left untouched? The answers, like the effects of Proxima itself, remained elusive and fraught with danger. The world of true potentials held another closely guarded secret, the ability to transfer powers. This intricate and perilous process allowed one true potential to bestow their abilities upon another. It was a ritual shrouded in secrecy and danger, passed down through generations of select individuals. The transfer itself was a delicate dance between two minds, a merging of consciousness, where the giver relinquished their power to the receiver. The risks were immense. If the transfer was not performed perfectly, the consequences could be catastrophic. The giver could suffer permanent brain damage, their personality fragmented, their memories lost. The receiver might not survive the process, their body rejecting the foreign energy. Even if the transfer was successful, the new powers often manifested differently in the recipient. They might be weaker, less controllable, or manifest in unexpected and dangerous ways. The ethical implications of power transfer were complex. Was it right to burden another with the responsibility and potential dangers of extraordinary abilities? Could such a gift ever truly be given freely, without coercion or manipulation? The ability to transfer powers added another layer of complexity to the already intricate dynamics between true potentials. It created a hierarchy, a system of mentors and apprentices, where knowledge and power were carefully guarded secrets, passed down only to those deemed worthy. The very act of transferring powers spoke to the profound bond, the shared burden and responsibility that existed between true potentials. It was a testament to their unique connection, a reminder that their abilities, while extraordinary, were also deeply personal and potentially devastating. True potentials shared an unspoken connection, a sixth sense that allowed them to sense each other's presence. It was a feeling, a subtle tug at the edges of their awareness that whispered of another like them nearby. This connection transcended distance and physical barriers. It was a beacon in the dark, a way for them to find others who understood the burden and the exhilaration of living with extraordinary abilities. Some described it as a faint humming in their ears, others as a tingling sensation that ran down their spine. The closer they were to another true potential, the stronger the sensation became. This sixth sense wasn't always reliable. It could be masked, suppressed, or even amplified depending on the individual and their level of control. There were some true potentials who could manipulate this connection, using it to track others or even disrupt their powers. The sixth sense was a double-edged sword, a source of both comfort and vulnerability. It connected them, reminded them that they weren't alone in a world that often misunderstood and feared them. But it also made them targets, vulnerable to those who sought to exploit their powers for their own gain. This unexplained connection was a constant reminder of their unique existence, a testament to the profound ways in which their abilities set them apart from the rest of humanity. It was a bond forged in power, a shared secret that united them even as it made them targets in a world grappling to understand the implications of their existence. Section 5. L.A.N.C.E. Guardians of a World on the Brink. The emergence of true potentials and the discovery of Proxima demanded a global response. The world needed an organization capable of understanding, regulating, and guiding these extraordinary individuals. From the ashes of uncertainty rose L.A.N.C.E, the Liberty Agency for the neutralization, control, and evaluation of extraordinary abilities, tasked with maintaining balance in a world teetering on the brink, Louisiana. N.C.E became the bridge between humanity and the burgeoning population of true potentials. Comprised of scientists, diplomats, and true potentials themselves, Louisiana. N.C.E operated with a delicate hand, striving to foster cooperation while maintaining control. Their mission was threefold: to protect the world from the potential threats posed by true potentials, to guide and train those with extraordinary abilities, and to ensure the responsible use of Proxima. It was a daunting task, fraught with ethical dilemmas and unforeseen challenges. L.A.N.C.E walked a tightrope, constantly navigating the fine line between safeguarding humanity and infringing upon the rights of a rapidly growing population of individuals with extraordinary abilities. They became the voice of reason in a world grappling with the unknown, the calming presence amidst the storm of fear and uncertainty. The world watched, holding its breath, as L.A.N.C.E took its first tentative steps towards shaping a future where true potentials could coexist with humanity, their abilities a source of hope rather than destruction. The fate of the world, it seemed, rested on the shoulders of this fledgling organization. Section 6. The L.A.N.C.E Initiative. Regulation, support, and safeguarding humanity. L.A.N.C.E.'s approach was multifaceted. To regulate the use of abilities, they established a comprehensive registration system for all known true potentials. This database allowed them to track individuals, monitor their activities, and intervene if necessary. They implemented strict protocols for the handling and distribution of Proxima, cracking down on black markets and working to educate the public on its dangers. Understanding that fear often stemmed from ignorance, Louisiana. N.C.E launched educational initiatives to foster understanding and acceptance of true potentials. They provided training and support for those struggling to control their abilities, offering a safe space to hone their powers and learn to use them responsibly. L.A.N.C.E recognized that true potentials were not just individuals with extraordinary abilities, but also valuable assets in a world facing new and complex threats. They assembled specialized teams of true potentials to handle missions ranging from disaster relief to neutralizing rogue individuals who posed a threat to public safety. These teams, carefully selected and rigorously trained, became a symbol of hope, demonstrating the incredible potential of true potentials when their abilities were used for good. L.A.N.C.E.'s efforts were met with mixed reactions. Some lauded their proactive approach, praising their commitment to both safety and understanding. Others criticized their methods, arguing that their regulations were too restrictive, infringing upon the rights of individuals who posed no threat. L.A.N.C.E found themselves walking a tightrope, constantly striving to maintain balance in a world where the lines between control and oppression were easily blurred. Section 7. The Weight of Power. Navigating ethical dilemmas in a world of extraordinary abilities. The emergence of true potentials and the proliferation of Proxima presented a myriad of ethical dilemmas. L.A.N.C.E found themselves grappling with questions that had no easy answers. How much control was too much? Was it ethical to restrict the use of abilities, even if it meant potentially saving lives? The debate raged on, fueled by fear, ambition, and the fundamental question of what it meant to be human in a world where the boundaries of human potential were constantly being redefined. L.A.N.C.E's own ranks were divided. Some argued for stricter regulations, believing that the potential for chaos outweighed the rights of individuals. Others advocated for a more hands-off approach, arguing that true potentials should be free to use their abilities as they saw fit, so long as they didn't harm others. The ethical dilemmas extended beyond L.A.N.C.E, permeating every aspect of society. Should true potentials be held to a different standard of law? Should they be allowed to serve in the military, or would their abilities create an unfair advantage? The questions were endless, each one forcing humanity to confront its own prejudices and preconceptions about power, responsibility, and the very nature of what it meant to be human. The world watched, captivated and terrified, as the drama unfolded. The emergence of true potentials had ushered in an era of unprecedented change, forcing humanity to confront its own values and beliefs in a world where the impossible was now possible. Section 8. A world redefined, the delicate balance between abilities and responsibility. The advent of true potentials irrevocably altered the world's landscape. No longer could humanity cling to the familiar boundaries of what was possible. The emergence of extraordinary abilities challenged the very fabric of society, forcing a re-evaluation of laws, ethics, and the fundamental understanding of human potential. The world had to adapt. The delicate balance between power and responsibility became paramount. True potentials, burdened with abilities beyond the comprehension of ordinary individuals, faced a unique set of challenges. They were both revered and feared, seen as both saviors and potential destroyers. The weight of their abilities, the knowledge that they held the fate of others in their hands, was a heavy burden to bear. L.A.N.C.E, for all its efforts, could only do so much. The true responsibility lay with the individuals themselves, with their choices and actions. Would they use their abilities for good, to protect the innocent and fight for a better tomorrow? Or would they succumb to the allure of power, their actions driven by self-interest and a thirst for control? The world held its breath, watching and waiting, as true potentials grappled with their newfound abilities and the profound responsibility that came with them. The future, once predictable and mundane, now shimmered with both promise and peril. Section 9. The Unwritten Future. Challenges and hopes in a world of true potentials. The journey toward a world where true potentials and ordinary humans could coexist peacefully was far from over. Challenges arose at every turn, testing the limits of L.A.N.C.E's authority and the resolve of true potentials to use their abilities responsibly. The emergence of new, more powerful abilities, the discovery of new applications for Proxina, and the ever-present threat of those who sought to exploit these extraordinary powers for their own gain ensured that the path forward would be fraught with obstacles. Yet, amidst the uncertainty, there was also hope. True potentials, inspired by L.A.N.C.E's example and driven by a desire to make a difference, stepped forward to share their abilities with the world. They worked tirelessly in every field imaginable, from medicine and science to disaster relief and environmental protection. Their contributions, once viewed with suspicion and fear, became invaluable to society. The world began to see true potentials not as threats, but as partners in building a better future. The journey ahead would be long and arduous, marked by both triumphs and setbacks. But as humanity ventured deeper into this uncharted territory, one thing remained clear. The world had changed, and there was no turning back. The emergence of true potentials had ushered in an era of unprecedented possibility, one where the limits of human potential were constantly being redefined. The future, unwritten and uncertain, held the promise of a world transformed, a world where the extraordinary was no longer a distant dream, but a tangible reality.